Time to wax the philosophic.
Yeah.
All right. This is Annie.
Hi, I'm Brian. Are we doing that now?
Oh, yeah, we're doing that today because you did it. Now you got to do it.
Oh,
Okay. We're going to talk about the middle way. Or we're going to talk about the paradigm of the four directions and the alchemy of spirit, mind, body, and soul.
Or just being human.
Oh. All right. I was being entertaining. You're trying. He's very posh compared to me. I'm trashy or frashy. Okay, let's talk.
Oh, no, you're posh.
It's in a way. You put that crap down. Okay. I have one policy in life. Keep things real.
What does that mean?
No polish. See it? Standards. No polish. Keep this trashy. All right, so we're going to talk about the paradigm first through the aspect of the four directions so we can look at what it means to alchemize mind, body, spirit, and soul. The paradigm of working between these different identities of self and your identity within culture. Because being a human, you can't help but reflect. I really admire the dog right now. Dog's just
the one on the floor that they can't see?
Yeah, it's a beautiful dog.
Okay.
It doesn't have to think about too much.
Her name is Kai. If she shows up later, we'll give her a formal introduction too.
Okay, let's do it. You ready? Ready. Seat of the spirit is the heart. The heart's our fire element, and in the paradigm of looking at these elementals of consciousness and how we alchemize our spirit into form, or the formless, which is spirit, space of emptiness, void, dark matter. There's so many names you could look at. It exists in alchemy. They may draw it as an upward-facing triangle representing fire. And the formless, that is, here. So we have fire, right? What are the other words? Formless. And then we have formed, which is water, the material element. Now we say water, but we mean the feminine aspect. So masculine and feminine. And these primarily correlate to fourth and second chakra. So your heart center and your creative center. Anyway, so formed, material realm.
Yeah, or the middle dantian and the lower dantian they're both the primary energy center or power centers of the body.
That is in the Asian tradition. Yes. Anyway, and the dantians you'll hear more in the martial practices, right, and breathing techniques. And they say it in Chinese paradigm, but anyway, the Americans learn it with dantians there, right?
Well, it just
Or
with
Westerners.
I feel like with fire and water, when talking about these primary spaces of masculine and feminine energy in the body, that it's more appropriate to talk about a smaller system than to talk about just two chakras. Right. Because if I take the whole essence of human and break it up into 7 parts, this to me makes up really all of it. Not just 2 of 8.
Right, absolutely. No, and I agree. He likes things to mix completely. I like to separate them out and talk about them in little pieces, so that's always good fun. I'm going to draw this a little bit bigger, so fire over water, or masculine over feminine, formless over formed, right? Over here. And I'm going to separate this out and say, if this were the second chakra, there's an element of identity of self that exists inside the second chakra. These are not explicitly second, third, fourth chakra, like he said, but in order to dialogue through it, we're going to separate it here. So in this water, or the formed element of earth, when I say earth here, I mean Mother Earth, the container for creative energies, just like the womb. The fire over here as an element as well of pure self inside there, outside of society, because we share our spirit, our form, every aspect of self through our chakra system, but some is more purely ours than others in terms of control and presence, or you could say free will. The fire element over here in the formless can't write. I'm working on it. It says I'm kneeling down. You're going to entertain them, right?
No.
Damn it. This is more cosmic energy versus
They can't see
earthly
that.
energy. I know, I'm not worried
Okay.
about that. I need bigger triangles because we got to draw in the middle. That's why I redid it.
All right.
Anyway, you got questions, you're going to just have to contact us. We'll make up something. This is philosophy, right? Of spirit?
Something.
It is. Pontifications of matter that may not matter. It's a good one. Anyway, so in these elementals, we have the upper and the lower aspects of self, the masculine and the feminine. But to be a human, we have to engage these, just like in the brain, the synapses fire and connect, and we have consciousness. That engagement plate is what makes us specifically human. And I'm not saying animals don't think. We're not going to get on that dialogue. We're talking about the aspect of figuring out what the meaning of your life is. So this is about you, looking at you. Don't compare yourself to any other being at this moment.
Unless you know its language very well and are an ambassador to that species, and then also comment.
Chipmunk, please. I want chipmunk.
That sounds good.
I don't even like chipmunks, but I'm not against them. But anyway, back to fire, water, alchemy of spirit and form, or water, element, earth. You have the aspect of what is the wood in the wood or the wind element, which is the imagination, the expansiveness. It's an element of a feeling. It's correlated to the liver and the gallbladder, but it's really at its easiest space you're feeling, and it's loosely the emotions, but the emotions entangle everything. They run through all systems.
Well, and on that same note, while we're talking about these really in the terms of fire and water, form and formless and spirit and soul are really more the precise tips of those triangles. And then as you move your way into the middle, it's really an intermingling of all these different elements.
This is backwards for all of them, you know. The Mary. The
Oh
other
yeah, all the
aspect,
writing that you're doing. You mean? Yeah.
The aspect of the opposite in here is not the feeling but thinking, right? So to be human is to be caught between the divine and the animal, or not specifically the animal, the material, right? Or the cosmic and the material form.
Yeah, the material is the form.
Right.
And the cosmic is formless.
And so we catch ourselves being conscious, so we think and we reflect. But we feel because we're wired from Earth. And Earth is comprised of impulses and waveforms and instincts that allowed us to propagate different species. And so we have this pivot as a human. And in that space, you could foundationally say that this one right here, the feeling space, correlates more to the element of play or of the child.
Well, and really, as you get so feeling and form, if you broke this into quadrants, or more of an 8-pointed star,
Yeah.
then in the middle of the line between feeling and form, that would be the animal, and in the middle of the line between feeling and the formless would be the child, which is the notion of really spirit without experience or spirit without expectations, where there are no consequences and there are no limits.
Yeah, the child and the spirit are both ignorant. They walk into any situation with complete trust. For example, they'll put their hand in a shark tank without thinking about it. And of course, what's going to happen? Well, if you have experience, you have thought and reflectance, and you've been on Earth for a while, you don't do that because you're going to lose an arm or the whole child. Depends on how big they are and how tasty and big they are. Anyway, so this is the pivot between the formless of cosmic energy or spiritual energy and feeling and expansion and play is the child. And to have the child's heart is to play and explore and to trust. the other aspects, right? As we go between the pivot of the formless and thinking and thought, what do we have?
Well, you have a deity. The idea of a formless thought is a god, and then a formed thought is an adult or a parent.
Right. So it's formless thought is consciousness or guardianship energy and protection and guidance without a body. So yeah, there's your deity, there's your God, and I'm just putting big letters over here, and they're nice and backwards for you. I could adapt.
Oh yeah, you can
Watch
do
this.
it.
Watch me, Leonardo. This.
She calls me posh.
Yeah. There you go. There's a C for child.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now between thinking and form, between consciousness and material form, we have the... Who gives you discipline at night when you don't go to bed? Dad or mom. We have the parent. We're going to do backwards P here. That's right. So this is also bright. You can't see anything. This is professionalism. Anyway, the parent over here is responsible for experience, brain patterns, learned behavior. Oh, I know what this situation is. I'm not going into this again. You parent yourself, even if you're a child, if you've been in an unsafe situation. You parent yourself in any situation that needs guardianship and protection. And or just structure. You know, you don't want to go and if you got $500 in your bank account, you don't go and do a $10,000 purchase because the money's not there. So you have to have a structure to contain your potential wish and desire of spirit, right?
Based on time and matter, and that's really what we're talking about is the interplay of reality without time, the timeless, the formless, where $10,000 and $500 are simply concepts, are simply the same energy passing through a wavelength, and the formed where we have it on Earth right now, and if I do this task for this long, I have this to show for it, and this is really the crux and the dilemma that we're in all the time, is this tension between knowing that the reality is much grander than any one experience and getting tastes of that, getting tastes of interconnectedness and getting tastes of a world without limitation. And then also getting these abrupt reminders that whether limitations are real or not, we experience them while walking through life in a body.
Right.
And so the child is forced to become a parent.
Or you can't stay in a body because it's not safe to be inside a structure, right? Because the child has to have some type of guardianship. But they intermingle, right? So you're looking at the marriage or the alchemy of spirit, mind, body, soul, all these spaces of thought and feeling, desire, and expansion, contraction and expansion, which is form and formless. Anyway, of that alchemy that you always coexist.
Yeah.
So this is basically the 8-pointed star breakdown on that. I'm trying to humor here anybody who may like to read. So this was the formless.
You're going through and actually writing those.
I'm writing it all backwards.
Very nice.
Okay, so that goes to that.
Okay.
And then this is the human space, right? The engagement plate. And what I really like about, if you want to see this really simply, without too much thought, can I erase? We're ready? I'm erasing. All right. You all know this in a more simpler version, which is this. Here's the engagement plate of the mind, human space right here. And here's the element of those purity of an aspect of spirit within each yin and yang of masculine, upward facing triangle, and or the upward facing triangle, I'll draw it within it, and the downward facing triangle, the feminine. And then so here's those pivots. There's the 4 and the alchemy between these aspects, this masculine and this feminine, are those change points of the different states of consciousness that all of us go through. We go through thought, feeling, doing, embodiment, and stillness, retraction of engagement, and we dissolve boundaries in meditation or prayer. And so we do this alchemy all the time. But what's the point? That's it. So let's, in the pursuit of being divine, you were divine once. You were God once. You were pure spirit. Now you came onto earth and you're a human. And when you were pure spirit, you were a creator. And as a creator, that makes you, it makes it to where you can manifest whatever you want. So is your job to manifest? Is your job to be enlightened? I think this is the job. What job do you see here?
Well, I see the job of flowing between states and of experiencing reality in a body in all of its illusions and in all of its clarity, and the ability to make choices that reflect that. And I mean, really, the only time I've ever seen all of those states feel really, really in balance have been in very, intense flow with a partner, in lovemaking, or in deep meditation, maybe like once.
Interesting. Get the yin yang with your partner.
But there's nothing to do, so just do what's in front of you. That's all there is, right?
Yeah, and then the other aspect that really is a big check on your consciousness and what are you going to do today? Are you stressed out? Are you going to manifest? Are you going to pray? What are you going to do? Really, you balance between thought and feeling, and you be human. Yeah, do what's in front of you. So, if what's in front of you is a crying kid, just receive it. And if you need to cry with it, go ahead. So,
I need to make enchiladas and eat them.
yeah, we got to make enchiladas. All right. That's good. Thanks.